My name is Tay, and we're live on O.G Phizow TV.
That's my name. Yeah. Watch me, music, Joey, corner, see ya, corner, wanna, funny, dollar, holla, money, corner, watch me, music, Joey.
Hi everyone, my name is Mrs Sesethu Gqomo Seyibokwe, and we are live on O.G Phizow TV. Hi, I'm Sesethu. I am the founder and director of Sesethu Gqomo Communications, a through-the-line marketing agency based in the beautiful city of Gqeberha with footprints in Cape Town and Johannesburg. We are all about building brands and elevating experiences, from social media management, graphic design, web design, to elevating your greatest events and celebrations. Intimate, loud, whatever you want, we can do it.
Certain strides will take me to my lover. I'll endure my convictions etched in stone about you. I am sure nobulwandle lukugwinya bambisandla samu nobumkama yesisinda wohlale duze kwami. Wahlale duze kwami. Wahlale duze.
So the career started well over 15 years ago. I started out as an intern at the 2010 FIFA World Cup, working with a brilliant Swiss company called Host Broadcast Services. There I learned the ins and outs of the game of football and also the media management of it. I then went to complete my undergrad, which was a BA in media marketing and comms at the Nelson Mandela University, and then went on to do my honors in corporate communication. So as part of our module, we had to do in-service training of, I think, 40 hours. That's where I then did my internship at Inganyezi Events, working on amazing events like the South African Automotive Week, the Nelson Mandela Bay Music Festival, and that's when I realized this is definitely where I want to be. Fast forward to later on in the career, I then became a marketing officer at the Nelson Mandela University and then moved into academia, where I started lecturing BA communications, which was what I studied for. So it kind of felt like a full circle moment. After lecturing for a couple of years, I realized there's a real big gap in the market. The number of graduates that are graduating at the university versus the number of them being absorbed into agencies and absorbed into entities was night and day. We had over 3,000 graduates across South Africa, but not enough media houses or agencies to absorb them. I also felt that, the narrative of the Black female was not narrated in a favorable way to us. And as the saying goes, the one who holds the pen holds the power. And that is where SGCom started. Basically, it was a space where I wanted to mentor and groom young females, more especially Black young females, in becoming communication specialists for whichever path they decide to take. And secondly, to create a platform that creates a positive narrative about Black women. That is also where one of my flagship events called Mbokodo Rise started from. It was a way of kind of enticing, but also marketing the company in a way that was unique. And without the platforms that we had been afforded, we decided to create our own. And I think 7 years down the line, this has definitely proven to be a testament of what we needed.
So, tip number 1, the devil is in the detail. When you're planning an event, you need to think of the consumer experience. When a consumer walks into the venue or walks to the event, what kind of sights and sounds do they see and what do they hear? Do they hear the marimba playing? Are there little photo cards for them to take pictures with? Is there a wall banner or a welcome drink? Think of the experience from an outsider's perspective, wanting to be welcomed into your event. Speaker profiles, and things such as presentations and programs, and little details that add and enhance to your event to give it that elevated experience that every good event should have. Number 2, always check the location. It's all good and well to look at things online and check them out on the web, but having to go to the space that you're going to be exhibiting or doing your event in is an absolute game changer. This is because certain lighting could be different on the day versus when you're there in person, or the spaces might be a lot smaller or a lot larger than they actually appear. So having on-site location and going there to go find the spots and the places and to find different nooks and crannies and find out, okay, this is what works, this is what doesn't work, and this is how best to make it work. So don't rely on the internet, don't rely on the person who is selling you this venue or this space, because that is their role, to give you an idea or an illusion that this is the best space to occupy. But you have to go there yourself, see it out for yourself in order for you to understand the exact look and feel.
Yeah, as I've mentioned, Mbokodo Rise is one of my babies, and it's a flagship event that, you know, is really deep-seated in my heart. It started 7 years ago, and we started on a measly budget of, I think, 3,850 Rand that we were sponsored by Mrs Nadia Domingo. And we put this event together at Phakama Building in New Brighton with only 20 patrons. It was literally a case of moving and acting in faith. You know, when an idea is in your head and it manifests into real life, I think that is something really spiritual. And the feeling of bringing this event to life for me was a testament of I'm on the right path. So I decided, you know what, I don't want a politically inclined or a religiously inclined or a group inclined type of event. I want a space where women, young and old, black and white, from all walks of life, entrepreneurs, corporates, you know, NPOs, to come together and chat, because no matter who we are, no matter what positions we hold, we all kind of face the same issues on different levels and in different spaces. So that is where Mbokodo Rise started, and that day for me was the beginning of what we see today. So my students came on board and they said, ma'am, we'd love to help you in whatever way we possibly can. So I bought a little bottle of calamine and some matchsticks, and they were out in the front doing the, you know, face art. I got some scrap pieces of material from Mispa stores, and all the Mbokodos had a beautiful scarf that they were a part of. And it was just a fantastic morning at Cafe Rizzo, where Mrs Sesethu said, I love what you're doing. I believe in what you're doing. Let's go and let's make magic. And she presented the most beautiful culinary feast. And on that measly budget was the beginning of what the greatness that Mbokodo is to come. We're now 7 years in, hosting it at one of the most exclusive venues in Gqeberha, with over 250 women coming together, and obviously with a budget that's a lot bigger than 3850.
I have been coming to these Mbokodo Rise events for the past few years, and every time I get goosebumps
from the phenomenal women in the room, just the fire, you know. I just want to say to Sesethu that what she has brought to us is something just so amazing, because it just, if you are not touched, if you are the same person when you leave this room, then wow, something's wrong, because I don't think I would leave the same today after what I've heard from these phenomenal speakers. So thanks Sesethu for bringing this to us. We need it, you know. Empowered women empower women.
A very big thank you to each and every single sponsor, stakeholder and Mbokodo who made it to our 7th annual Mbokodo Rise celebration. It was all of that and so much more. Thank you to Bongewe Mbonge, Zimkita Pita and Lebu Lion. To our sponsors, ABSA, without you we would not be where we are today. The Mbokodos have shared their stories from far, from wide, from the humblest beginnings to international platforms. This is why your story truly matters. To you, thank you, and see you next year at the 8th annual Mbokodo Rise celebration.
The journey of motherhood, wow, what a journey that's been. Nothing I've ever experienced before, that's for sure. But, you know, I think through the journey of motherhood, it is the beauty of exploring this human being that you actually don't really know, seeing what they like, what they don't like, seeing their traits, and watching them grow. But I think beyond the hardship of motherhood, especially early motherhood and running a business, is that it's created a stronger drive that I no longer am doing this for me. I have a legacy to uphold. There's someone who's looking at me and wanting me to do better. So I have to make sure that I do better for him and ensure that he gets the greatest and the best of anything and everything that I can possibly offer. So for me, motherhood has been one of the wildest journeys because you're not in control of a lot of things. And as an entrepreneur, you always want to be in control of things and know what is coming up next. And, you know, having a baby is literally the opposite direction. So it's taught me a lot of patience. It's taught me a lot of grit. And it's taught me to love so much outside of myself. And more importantly, it's given me a greater drive to know that whatever I'm doing now is no longer just for Sesethu, her happiness, her, you know, lifestyle, but it is for the generation that comes after me. I started a YouTube channel with, you know, some dope bros called THMC, the Hang Around Media Club. And boy, what a time we had. Putting together a YouTube channel is not easy. It's not for the faint at heart, and it's not a joke. Preparing the content, the lighting, the background, in order to execute, you know, a brilliant piece of work is no child's play. So I definitely will come back. But now that I know what it takes, I definitely, you know, want to do better and want to do right, you know. So THMC, O.G Phizow TV, we might be making a return soon. When it comes to lecturing, I think my lecturing experience helped me to give back the information, the skills, the knowledge, the experience that I had over the years in my corporate career. I still am working, I still am gaining experience, and I still definitely want to give back, but not as a lecturer. I think now the space that I would more focus on is, your master classes, providing podcasts, and, doing that type of work where I do it in my own time. It's captured and it lives forever on the internet. Yeah.
And welcome back to SGCom's Corner, where we bring you all things entrepreneurship, eventing, and public relations. So some of you have been asking me what kind of books do I read, and I thought, great, let me do the next 2 episodes on the books that I read and what I have thoroughly enjoyed about learning from these books. Today's first book that we're going to be chatting about is The 90 Rules for Entrepreneurs, and it's written by Manus Broderick. Some of you might recognize him from Mnet's Shark Tank. He was actually the youngest Shark Tank judge.
Being a black female PR and comms practitioner in Gqeberha is no easy journey. The amount of hardships we've had to go through, or I have had to go through, is unsurmountable, but it's created a better version of me. It's refined me, and it's given me so much skin in the game that, whatever comes at me, I don't feel that I'm not able to achieve, because there are a lot of milestones that many thought that I wouldn't achieve and that I've achieved and surpassed. So I think it was testament to me. Sometimes our greatest enemy is the guy between our 2 ears. And sometimes it's external barriers. But once you have positive conversations to yourself, about yourself, you are more than able to achieve anything. Another thing that I've also learned about entrepreneurship is that if the platform is not provided for you, you go out and you create it. So if I'm going to wait on certain entities and funding agencies and housings, we've gone through this time and time again, sometimes partially successful, other times not. It hasn't stopped what needs to be done. So I really am a believer that whatever it is that you want to achieve, with or without the funding, you do what you have, you do what you can with what you have where you are, and keep it moving. As much as you have the qualification or not have the qualification, going the extra mile in your workspace sets you apart for years to come. When I was an intern 15 years ago at an eventing agency in PE, I didn't know where that would land me 15 years from then. But I gave it my best shot. I gave it my all. I went above and beyond the call of duty, and it strengthened me as a PR and comms practitioner. It gave me insights as an events organizer, and it sharpened my mind as a future business person, because then when I showed the interest and I showed the report and I showed up, the partners or the bosses saw that and kind of gave me insights that I wouldn't have conventionally had I just come in at 8, knocked off at 4, had my lunch, and did bare minimum just to get paid. So, ladies and gents, in the beginning, it's not always about what you earn, it's about what you learn. And unfortunately, there's no shortcut and no circumventing the road to success. And you have to put in the time. You need to earn those stripes and come out the other side.
This is a forum where we as young people come together and speak the same voice. And one of our slogans was, nothing for us without us. If you're going to make decisions about young people, you involve young people and not come together as, retirees and sit and make decisions for young people on their behalf without any of them being represented.
Future plans is to comms to go nationwide, baby. We need to, start setting ourselves up in a lot more spaces around South Africa. I think more cities, metros, lalis need to see, hear, and experience SG Comms. And I'm available on LinkedIn, SG Comms, on Instagram, SG_comms, that's SG_COMMS, and on Facebook, SG Comms. Thanks so much for tuning in to OG Phizow TV. I'm Mrs Sesethu Gqomo Seyibokwe, and what a time we had. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Please subscribe!